Hello, I'm Clayton Brough, and welcome to Nearly 1,000 Years of Family History. In this video, you'll see and hear how one of the world's largest ancestral family organizations has discovered and shared its family history with thousands of relatives living in many countries and on several continents. I hope you enjoy this true story that covers nearly 1,000 years. Much of the story about the Broughs of England would not be known if it were not for many years of research by two individuals, Catherine Ann Brough and James Henry Brough.
The town of Leek is in northern Staffordshire and dates back to the early 1200s. For hundreds of years, the town was a regular cattle market, but during the Industrial Revolution, it became a major producer of textiles. Since the 1500s, many Brough-related families have lived in and around Leek and contributed much to its development.
The Richard Brough Family Organization is named after Richard Brough, who was born in 1786 in Trentham, Staffordshire, England. As a young man, Richard Brough learned the trades of carpentry and brickmaking. But when he was 19 years old, he joined the British Army and became a gunner, and served for the next 17 years in the 8th Battalion of the Royal Artillery Service. Due to an injury to his ankles, Richard was discharged from the Army in 1822. In 1825, Richard married Mary Harleston in St. Peter's Church in Stoke-upon-Trent, and they became the parents of 10 children, most of whom were christened in the Church of St. John Longton, which was demolished in 1979. In 1840, Richard joined the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, and later on, 5 of his 10 children also joined the LDS Church, with 3 of them, Thomas, Elizabeth, and Samuel, eventually immigrating to Utah.
Today, RBFO officers and board members represent thousands of Brough descendants living on several continents and in many nations. And the RBFO website receives over 40,000 visits a month.
Brough family reunions have been held in northern Utah. This one was held in 1978 in Bountiful, and this one was held in 2000 in Kaysville. Several years ago, the RBFO began sponsoring international Brough reunions, such as this one held in 2005 in Randolph and Kaysville, Utah.
In August 2011, Revival Cycles partnered with Brough Superior to take Brough back to the Bonneville Salt Flats for the first time in 60 years. With an 1150cc JAP engined Brough Special in the trailer, we had hopes of setting a new land speed record for the vintage gasoline special class. None seemed to imagine that on our first trip to the Salt, we'd set the record twice.
In 1981, my father, two close friends, and I went on an adventure in Alaska. We were to land on a remote lake and climb to some beautiful high country. In order to reduce the load we would have to personally carry, we wrapped our supplies in boxes and covered them with foam, attached large colored streamers, and threw them out the window of our bush plane at our intended destination. After arriving, we searched and searched, but to our dismay, we could not find any of the boxes. Eventually, we found one. It contained a small gas stove, a tarp, some candy, and a couple packages of hamburger helper, but no hamburger. We had no way to communicate with the outside world, and our scheduled pickup was a week later. I learned 2 valuable lessons from this experience. 1, do not throw your food out the window. 2, sometimes we have to face hard things. Frequently, our first reaction to hard things is, why me? Asking why, however, never takes away the hard thing. The Lord requires that we overcome challenges, and He has indicated that all these things shall give us experience and shall be for our good. As we face hard things in the Lord's way, may we lift up our heads and rejoice.
Remember how it used to snow in Tahoe, how we came on down. Remember the winter of '84, 20 feet on the ground, spending time with old friends, singing songs by the fire.
When you go into a kindergarten class and ask how many of them are artists, ask them to raise their hands, every single hand shoots up. And somewhere around maybe 3rd grade, some of them start thinking, well, I'm not really an artist because Bob here is a lot better than I am and I suck at this. I'm giving up. I'm going to go do something else. And I recognize that when we define ourselves by who and what we are today, we really limit ourselves and limit our future by defining ourselves in these really small boxes. Oh, I don't know how to do that. I'm not good at drawing. I'm not good at music. I could never do that. And I think that is such a cop-out. That is bull. We need to get busy and put our minds to doing something creative. It begins with that quote from St. Francis that a man who works with his hands is a laborer, a man who works with his hands and his head is a craftsman, but a man who works with his hands, his head, and his heart is an artist. If we can live our lives in love rather than fear, everything else falls into the right place. Everything works out somehow.
I am having fun, but I really try to make it look like I'm having fun.